Hey, Tiger fans. We have a great radio show for you today. We are talking our alumni hall event, Clemson's wide receivers, Jason's lawnmower, my Jason's car line, my feelings about a TV show, and much more on this edition of the All Clemson Tigers radio show. Before we get started, I'd love for everyone just to smash that subscribe button, hit that like button, leave a comment. It helps us out so much on YouTube's algorithm to share this content with everyone else. Jason, you look a little bit tired. What's going on?
It's just a hectic hour. Hectic hour. I have to do afternoon car line a lot in the afternoon. The kid gets out at 3:30, which the school is just right down the road. So but with the line and stuff, I know I'm gonna be cutting it close at 4 o'clock. I got to time it a little better next time. Today was my first time doing it at the same time we were doing the show at 4 o'clock. So it's gonna be a little learning experience the first time. So I got to time it a little better tomorrow or Monday. I don't think I'm doing it tomorrow. Come in the door 3:58.
Exactly. Yes, you did. Walked in the door, hopped on the show, and we were going.
I made sure I had everything set up before I left, so all I had to do was come in, sit down, and hit the button.
I like it. I like it. So a little bit of forethought there. That's always good. Listen, last night, we had our college football kickoff show at Alumni Hall. Honestly, man, I loved it. I thought it was a great show. I thought we hit on a lot of stuff. And honestly, that last segment of if you're smarter than Zach, I think you won. Yeah, Brad's not here to defend himself. But if I had to name a winner, I am giving it to you. You are the smartest person on that group. You had some good thoughts. And look, honestly, anytime your thoughts align with mine, you're going to be good. So, yeah, lots of fun last night. I think these live shows are really picking up steam, and honestly, I love getting out and seeing the fans. Seeing people out there shopping and hanging out with us. So honestly, there's nothing else like it.
That was my first time ever being in Alumni Hall. Very nice little outlet there. A lot of stuff to choose from. Got there a few minutes early. Got to browse around a few minutes, but if you haven't ever been there, I would suggest going by and checking it out. But yeah, that show was a lot of fun, man. Like you said, we hit on a lot of topics. Got to see me hit a brick wall in one of my statements. First time I was ever speechless for a moment, man.
Exactly. I was like, holy crap. I mean, does he have COVID again? Is he getting that COVID fog?
Oh man, my mind just went blank on me all of a sudden. I totally forgot what I was trying to say. I remember seeing a question somebody had asked, and I was going to try to tie that question in what I was talking about, and it just, man, it just totally went blank on me. I totally lost my whole train of thought there for a minute.
Yeah, that happens to all of us. Listen, I want to ask you, how's the lawnmower situation? Because last, I think when we spoke on Monday, your lawnmower was on the fridge, your dog has cancer, your your life is not happy. You're out of beer. You're basically a walking, talking country song. So let's start with the lawnmower, and then we'll get to some of the other stuff.
The lawnmower is fixed. I picked it up on Monday evening after the Monday live show. Left first thing Tuesday morning, so still haven't been able to cut the grass because didn't get home until after 11 last night.
Geez, you're gonna need like a bush hog or something.
That's what's getting done as soon as me and you are done with this. So that's some good news there. Sounds like my car's going to be ready tomorrow after the accident and the storm. Fingers crossed. Got a call while I was in Clemson the past couple of days that it also needed a new radiator from the damage. So it took a little bit longer. Also got a little good news on the dog. I mean,
Oh,
don't get me wrong, she's got a tumor, but they were reluctant to cut it out because they thought they found another mass in her chest, a big one, and they sent the scans off to be read by a professional. And I guess it's not a cancerous mass like they thought it was. So they are not as reluctant to cut the smaller tumor out, which is ruptured at this point. So she's having to wear a diaper at all times, and she's over here pulling at it as we speak.
yeah. Every time I hear you say it's not a tumor, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger in kindergarten going, "It's not a tumor. It's not a tumor."
She's got a little nasty one there. It just it hangs under her belly. It's not even connected to anything. It's really weird, actually. And she's old, and she's been under anesthesia several times in the past couple of years. And my wife, it's really my wife's dog, and she was very reluctant to put her under again if we didn't have to when that thing ruptured. It's got to be cut out at some point. Bad news is, and I ain't gonna name the vet, but we got I think we kind of got hogwashed by. I had to go to a new vet. My regular vet couldn't work her in that day, and they knew we were coming in for a surgical consult. We get there and they tell us, "You probably need to take her to the emergency room, man. Our surgery schedule is booked for 2 months out.
Huh?
why not just tell me that on the phone instead of bringing me in,
Exactly.
charging me for a visit?" And I asked her, "Well, our staff at the front desk don't know about our surgical schedule." I'm like, "Don't you think that's something they should know?" Anyways, that's neither here nor there. Supposed to hear from them the next day regarding the scans, right? Didn't hear. That was on Wednesday. Didn't hear from them Thursday, Friday, Monday. I ended up having to call up there Monday. Wife ended up had to finally go by there. Still, the doctor wasn't there, so we still didn't get emailed about it till Monday night. So I got a feeling that somebody else is going to be doing the surgery.
Mm,
Just another bill.
yeah, exactly. It's a tire, huh? Let's see here. Yeah. So, last night, if y'all missed the show, I was actually a victim of a hit and run. I was pulling into the gas station off exit 35. I'll leave the gas station's name out of this. All right, I was pulling in, and this truck was backing out, and the truck just didn't even look. They ran their rear bumper into my front of my car and left a nice little scratch and a small dent. And so, I get out of the car and I do what every other American does when you're involved in a accident. I get out of the car, I pull out my phone, and I you know, give the international what the hell sign. And so I'm standing here like this, and the little blonde haired girl in this like gold F 150 gives me this number. And she drives off. She drives off.
Hey,
Yeah.
like I said last night, nothing says the students are back more than what happened to you.
I was like, what the hell? You're gonna sit here hitting. She had two illnesses, and she just fell off. One guy came up and he's like, she's gone. I said, I know. And so I obviously went inside, got the waters for us for the show, and left them in the car so he had nothing to drink the entire show. No one, had any decency to bring us any beer or water or anything. Uh, yeah. So that was I've got JP's luck. His luck has rubbed off on me.
Yeah, we can't have that, man. You don't want that kind of luck.
Yeah.
Hopefully, yours is just a one-off.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, bad things come through. So the second thing is, have you ever like started watching a series or something on like Netflix or whatever, and it's so bad, it's awful. It's so bad that you have to finish it.
Yes.
I mean that,
If I start a series, I gotta finish it 99% of the time.
yeah, yeah. So anyway, I was upstairs just like 30 minutes ago trying to plow through this series called The Eternal List. It is based off an incredible book. The series, I mean, it was nothing like the book. It was terrible. It was awful. Every episode, I'm sitting here going, it can't get any worse. And yet, it did. Every episode was worse and worse. And the thing is, like when they change shit just to like change it, and there's nothing like, any real reason for them to change the stuff in the show. But they did that. And so, I finally finished it. I got it done. So now I can wash my hands of that series. And I suffered through.
Yeah, I cannot think of one off the top of my head, but there have been ones that I watched to the end, even though I thought they sucked. Um,
Uh,
that's kind of my mindset too. If I started, I gotta finish.
Jason, don't lie. I know you love the Real Housewives of Orange County and all that stuff. You're a huge fan of those shows you love. You're all about the reality TV and
My wife does like to watch that Below Deck, whatever that one about the cruise ship.
all right, well, let's go ahead and kind of jump into the show today. I want to, as always, thank you all for helping us reach that 1,000 subscriber mark. We are continuing to add subscribers and viewers every single day. Honestly, it means the world to us, that you join us every day for all of our shows and our content. So thank you so much. All right, so our first question is from John Brown. Any injury problems popped up? Honestly, John, we have not heard of any new injuries, since the last time we heard from Dow, which was after the last scrimmage. Obviously you're into camp, and actually they just finished camp, 2 days ago. But you're gonna have guys kind of dinged up and bruises and that kind of stuff. But there is no injury news that we have heard of. Jason, have you heard of any injury stuff from your sources?
Not anything. Other than Jeremiah Trotter being held out mostly as a precautionary thing of the last scrimmage, and but if it was a real game, he would have went. I think that had a lot to do with wanting to get Wade Wood as more reps at Mike, anyways. To build some depth there. But sounds like everything's good to go on the injury front right now.
Yeah, I mean, Dabo has made no bones about the fact that they are holding a lot of guys. In the scrimmages, they held Tyler Davis, Root, XT, Maskell, all at various times. The high snap guys, as Dabo like to say, they held them. So, you know, I don't see it as any kind of injury issue. I see it as Dabo just understanding how limited this linebacker core is, and the fact that he understands that if something happens to Char or to Carr, this core is going to be extremely thin.
Yeah, that is one place where they are not going to be able to afford an injury. Is that there's just inside linebacker spots, just not a lot of depth there, especially after the dismissal of T.J. Dudley. That's one of those places you're just going to have to cross your fingers and hope things work out. Good to hear that Woodaz is kind of settling into that role and feeling more comfortable playing inside, though, in case something happened and you needed to move him inside in a pinch or whatever. But yeah, it's hard to imagine if they were to lose Trotter for a substantial amount of time, that would be a devastating blow.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of hit on this last night. Do you think that Jeremiah Tyre is one of the more underrated players on this team? I mean,
Absolutely.
all he does is make plays. He goes out there. He's a quarterback's nightmare, and I think he has silently become arguably the best linebacker on this team.
Oh, I would absolutely agree with that. I think I know he's getting a lot of love in some of these award things, preseason awards, watch list things that come out. If you listen from a national perspective, I don't think he gets as much love as he should have. He really grew into that middle linebacker role last season. How much he improved from game one to the final game of the season, man. It was just night and day. He is one of the most talented linebackers to come through the program in a long time. Clemson's had a bunch of hard nosed, high football IQ linebackers, on that team over the years, but they've never had the kind of athleticism to go along with that football IQ and talent that they have right now in those two inside guys, and Carter Trotter and Barrett Carter. That there is those guys have so much athleticism that Clemson's kind of lacked at the linebacker spot in recent seasons. A lot of those guys made up for it in IQ, but they don't have the sideline to sideline speed that Trotter's got or Carter's got for that matter. That this could be the best duo of linebackers that Clemson's had in this playoff run.
Absolutely. Kelly gets in and wants to know if this is a make or break season for good. After Dow, Ryan, Garrett Riley, he wanted to accept mediocre results from a corner. I'll let you start with this one.
Um, I wouldn't say it's make or break. I do think that the assistant coaches were kind of put on notice after last season, though. Don't get me wrong, make no mistake. We've all heard about the come to Jesus meeting Dabo had with the staff. I think this was before Streeter even got fired. Things got heated in that room, and when you fire a guy like Brandon Streeter, who's been there as long as he had, was a Clemson guy, and you fire him after one season, that's going to get your attention if you're employed inside of that building. Make no mistake. I do think the situations are a little different, though. I think Clemson's offense needed to be retooled, revamped, whatever you want to call it. It needed to be scrapped and a new system brought in, fresh set of eyes. And I don't think Brandon Streeter is that guy. I don't think he's the guy that can come in and bring a new scheme or implement a new scheme. Um, you know, I do think Clemson's defense needs to be better than it was last year. It was not as good last year as it has been in recent seasons. I think Daniel Shirley kind of touched on this last night as our special guest. Kind of gets overlooked a little bit because of how bad the offense was, right? But I think Dabo Swinney's got a lot of confidence in Wes Goodwin. There's a reason that he hired that guy. There's a reason Brent Venables wanted to take that guy with him to Oklahoma. People think very highly of him. I do think the defense needs to be better this year, but I'm not sure I'd call it a make or break season.
I completely agree. You're looking at a coordinator who really has one full season of coordinating experience. He was a guy that has been groomed for this position. However, I think that it's a little bit different than the Streeter thing. Streeter was the guy that had, how many years at Clemson? 14? He had been a coordinator in the past at Richmond and Liberty. So he had experience. He knew what he was doing. And honestly, if you're asking me, yeah, Dad understands that the offense was the Achilles heel of this team. It wasn't the defense. And the offense goes 3 and out, has your quarterback turning the ball over on shovel passes. The offense didn't do anything to help the defense out last year. So I think that, while he did put the coaches on notice, I think Wes has a little bit of leeway this season. However, I think next year you could see it be a big year for Wes if he doesn't, things don't pan out the way they're expected to. This year, there are zero excuses with the dogs he's got up front, with that, linebacker core. The secondary has done nothing. Talk about how great they're going to be, how outstanding they are at corner, at safety. And obviously, they have some dudes at safety. And you look at, I mean, go down the list. You got, Lucas, you got Kua, you got Hickens, you got, just name it off. You can go probably 5 or 6 deep on a safety group. And so I think the excuses are going to be very few and far between if this season is not tie your hands expect.
Yeah, I'm like you. I think he gets a little bit more leeway. That offense was, I talked about the defense taking a step back last year, but that offense didn't do anything to help that defense out. Matter of fact, put them in bad spots.
Yeah.
Time and again last season, 3 and out after 3 and out after 3 and out. Defense just hung out to dry, left on the field too long. But having said that, I do think there is absolutely room for improvement. I think Wes Goodwin will be the first one to tell you that. And I think after he's had a year, you know, of experience, and now that he's also had an entire offseason to kind of reflect and look back on what he could do better and where he can make improvements at, I think you're going to see a much better, more cohesive defense this year.
Yeah. I think, I wanted to ask you your opinion on this. Yeah. Do you think the players respect us the same way that they did Venables?
You know, Venables has such a fire. They have two such different personalities.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if they don't fear Wes Goodwin maybe the way they feared Brent Venables. Not sure I would say they don't respect him. They sound like they respect him. They sound like they like him. They seem to be, over the moon when they found out he was going to be the guy. So you can tell they really like him. But I'm not sure, the way their two personalities are so different. I'm not sure that they fear Wes Goodwin the same way they feared Brent Venables. Venables is going to get in your face if you mess up or if you're you know taking a play off or whatever. I don't know if Wes Goodwin was that guy, so I just don't know if they're viewed in the same way.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because you hear the players in interviews, and they always refer to him as Wes. You never heard that from Venables. It's always Coach Lee, Coach Venables. Even it's Coach Dow, Coach Sweeney, Coach Riley. So it's. I think that's where it's kind of hard, for a player who has been around a a guy who is basically an analyst, you know, for the majority of his time at Clemson, and then gets promoted. I think it's hard for them to have the same level of respect for him.
I kind of tend to agree. The way they refer to him as Wes. That is something I've noticed too. I've wondered sometimes, if maybe he just wasn't one of the boys while he was an analyst on that thing, and maybe that's why they call him Wes. I don't know. They seem a lot playing for him, but I definitely don't think he's not that intimidating presence that Brent Venables was. That's for sure.
I completely agree with this statement. Not only did the offense look better, the defense looked better. I mean, Kate Klubnik, when he came into the games last year, that energy was infectious across the yard. From the offense to defense to special teams, he exudes that excitement and the leadership. Look, we have beat this horse until it's dead. Kate Klubnik is a leader. He is an excitable guy. He is a guy that honestly will probably have to learn to temper his excitement a little bit. He is not a calm guy. And look, if you think the defense doesn't get fired up when they see a guy like him come into the game and start yanking guys by the face mask and yelling at them, and the speed and passion with which he plays the game, you're crazy. Everyone feeds off the leader of the team, and Cade Klubnik has established himself as the leader of this football team.
Yeah, and I think leadership is something that's been sorely lacking the past couple of years. And let me start off by saying this is not a knock on DJ Uyunglele, but
Yes,
but he's
it
just
is.
not that guy, man. He's just
Yes,
not
it
that
is.
guy.
Yes, it is. It's a knock on him. It's okay. He's no
Hey,
longer quarterback here. You can call a spade a spade.
but he's just not that guy. He is not going to be the guy that is out there rah rah and that little ball of energy that Cade Klubnik is. He's just that laid back. I mean, it's just who he is. And we've seen over the
He,
past 2 years, nothing's changing that. He
he,
is who he is, and I'm not sure that's the kind of leader that team on offense needed last year, or the defense for that matter. I think Klubnik's kind of the right guy at the right time.
DJU is the right guy if you need to give the other team 7 points.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what he does out there at Oregon
Yes,
State this
sir.
year, and playing under center too, something he has not really done much of in his career.
No, I think the Oregon State fans, of course, you're talking Oregon State. I mean, how awful are they to start with? So, I mean, it's not like he can, you know, do much worse. So, John Brown gets in. Will the QB run be very prevalent in the offense?
I think It's got to be right. You have a guy that can hurt you with his legs at quarterback. That has got to be a weapon that you take advantage of. You can't play scared and be afraid of him getting hurt. You have to take advantage of what he can do in his strong suits. And Klubnik's lefts are one of his strongest suits. He is a he is a playmaker with the football in his hands. That is something you have to take advantage of on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that yeah last year, if you just look at Max Duggan, from TCU, he was not a guy that had club speed or his ability to escape. Yet Garrett Riley continued to run him in situations, not only design runs but RPOs. So I think that I think also that Klubnik is at his best when he's scrambling. I mean, he has that option. When he's rolling out to his right and has the option to throw it or run it or screen or whatever. That is when we've seen him at his best. So absolutely, I think it's going to be very prevalent. And honestly, if it's not, then this Tiger team is going to, roll the trouble. Because look, also when you have a guy like Chloe, who can run, who can stress a defense, that is an extra defender that is unaccounted for. So by the very virtue of number counting, if you have a quarterback who can run, they have to account for him. That's going to leave someone else open.
You have to make the defense account for him. Absolutely.
Yeah. Kelly gets in and says he fears that we'll see on the couch. Yeah. I
I
think,
think a lot of us did.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. So, jumping ahead a little bit, there is some semi-breaking news today. According to the uh, San Francisco Bay News, the ACC is progressing toward western expansion with Stanford, Cal, SMU, and also on 3 Sports is reporting a deal is very close to being done, and ESPN could pay the ACC $72 million more if the conference has those 3 teams. Jason.
With FSMU coming in for free, so they don't get any of that 72 million for the first 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stanford and Oregon taking significant.
Stanford and Cal.
Stanford and Cal taking much smaller pieces of that pie than what the other ACC teams take. If what I've seen is correct, they're going to have like $55 million of revenue every year to disperse to the remaining ACC teams, and they're trying to work it out on performance-based incentives or whatever. And that's kind of what Clemson and Florida State's been clamoring for the past year, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The issue is the extra money going to be enough to keep, Florida State and Clemson happy? I mean,
it's a band-aid. It's a short-term solution because 5 years from now, those teams are going to be wanting full cuts, and you're back to where you started, in my opinion. You're right back at point A unless you go to some entirely different revenue model. To me, I don't think this does anything to keep Clemson and FSU in the league. It might keep them happy while they remain in the league for a short term. Might even speed up the process in which they look to get out of the league.
Yeah, I think everyone wants to think about this expansion stuff as it relates to football. However, Can you imagine the non-revenue sports like women's lacrosse and soccer and gymnastics and softball and baseball having to go across the country to play a series or even a game? If you're talking basketball, you're going to fly across the country to play a game against Stanford or Cal. I mean, if if the ACC presidents care as much about you know academics as they say, this should be a non-star. I mean, you're going to take class time away from these kids, travel time, extra hours. I mean, not to mention, you're going to California. Hell, they're all about carbon emissions out there. I mean, imagine the carbon emissions they're going to, put by them having to fly across the street or across the country.
Now, I haven't seen this anywhere, but somebody told me one of the reports said that Stanford and Cal might only join in football and basketball. Again, I haven't seen that anywhere. Um, but somebody told me that was floating around out there. I don't know. I don't know how you do that, but so take that for what it's worth.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, to me, I like I feel like it's trying to place a band-aid on cancer, and that's what the ACC has right now. They have a huge tumor, and they're hoping that this little bit of extra money is going to help keep teams appeased. But yeah, to
I,
me, I just don't see how it works financially. I mean, it's shocking to me that we are in a place in 2023 where we are talking about the Atlantic, the Atlantic Coast Conference, talking about adding Cal and Stanford. You know, I was not a geography major in college. I can tell you right now, Cal and Stanford are not on the Atlantic coast.
yeah, well, we know now the geography doesn't matter anymore. It's all about the dollar signs, and I'll tell you exactly what I see this as. I see this as a league looking to try to make themselves as strong as possible for when Clemson and Florida State are gone. That's how I see this. I might be end up being way wrong about that, but that's kind of what this looks like to me. This looks like a move prepared for when those two teams finally do say adios.
So let me ask you this. Does this, move, if it happens today, does it actually speed up the Tigers and Seminoles getting out of the conference?
We'll see, because I've been of the opinion that we might hear something in the next year. So it's hard to speed it up more than that. We'll see if it speeds it up, but I don't think this is going to appease Clemson, Florida State's long term concerns in any way, shape, or form, nor should it. I mean, you're still going to be at a substantial gap, even with Cal, and Stanford coming in at as partial members and SMU coming in for free. But to me, it's about what happens 5 years from now when those guys are wanting full shares of the money and how they start distributing it then. Yeah, I mean, it's good for the short term, but I don't think it's going to keep Clemson, Florida State happy long term. I don't think this does anything to change their views on the outlook of the future of ACC football.
Well, I mean, especially when, if ESPN is willing to put up 72 million, I mean, that's what some of these Big Ten SEC schools are making on their own. So I mean, you're already it's not doing anything to add toward the gap in in finances. And so, like you said, eventually they are going to want to get full shares, and that is not going to work. Not to mention, if you're trying to bolster your standing to compete with these teams or these conferences like the Big Ten, SEC, and even the Big 12, do you really think that adding Cal and Stanford is going to do that?
No, no, it doesn't. It doesn't strengthen your conference from a football perspective at all. These teams have been bad the past few years. Cal's been bad for a long time. Stanford was respectable under David Shaw, but that thing even fell off under him, and he did a remarkable job there for a while. But this does nothing to help your football prowess in any way, shape, or form. And as far as adding teams, whether that opens up any legal avenues to get out of grant of rights, there are people who thinks there is language in the grant of rights that will make it challengeable in court once these new television deals kick in, due to the fact that it will not hold the same kind of value, or the ACC's television deal will not hold the same kind of value compared to the SEC's and Big Tens. So if you're looking at it from that perspective, if you're getting 72 million more in revenue, the ACC is at least trying to, keep that gap from getting too out of hand. So I don't know if it definitely doesn't help your cause. I mean, the grant of rights is totally separate from the television deal. It's a whole different deal, and it probably gives the teams that would vote on things, with the smaller schools, 2 more votes in their pockets or 3 more votes in their pockets, because those guys are going to vote, against Clemson, Florida State's best interest most of the time, probably. I'm not sure if I put that the way I really meant it, but
Yeah, I just can't get over a conference like the ACC wanting to Stanford. I mean, you're talking about you have these Seminoles, you have the Tigers, you have the Yellow Jackets, you have the Tar Heels, you have the Wolfpack, you have the Cardinals, you have the Seminoles, you have the Hurricanes. You're gonna have the Cardinal. I mean, it's not even the bird; it's the color. The Stanford Cardinal is the color, and I mean, their mascot's a tree. There, you know, it just to me it screams of desperation.
took the words right out of my mouth. The biggest thing to me in all this is the fact that Notre Dame is the one of the schools that is really pushing this thing and driving it. A a school that is not even a member in football. How in the heck we got here to where Notre Dame has so much power
I
over
can tell
football?
you how.
Yeah,
It
well, I
was,
know. That's what I'm saying. How we got here is insane. It just makes no sense.
yeah, I can go back to 2020, the COVID year. John Swofford had Notre Dame by the balls, and he could have twisted them and said, "Look, you want to play in our conference? Fine, but you're down going to be a full member, and this, getting to, play every sport and kind of, dip your little toe in the football atmosphere." Instead though, he got himself shafted, and so did the ACC.
Here's
They
another.
had they
Go ahead.
had the chance to squeeze Notre Dame into the conference, and they let it go.
Here's another thing to consider about Notre Dame and why they're so fighting for this so hard. 5 years from now, when the SEC and the Big Ten or whatever happen, once they get to so many teams, we might very well see them going to 10-game conference schedules. How hard is it going to be for Notre Dame as an independent to keep scheduling Big Ten teams from in out of conference games if that ever happens? So I think that's another reason that Notre Dame's pushing this so hard. They know they might have some potential scheduling roadblocks up ahead in the future, and Stanford is a team they play every year already. You get them in the ACC, and that's a check mark for you. Again, how we got here makes no sense. When Notre Dame came on board back in 2016 or whatever it was as a partial member, they gave them way too much power. Way too much power.
Oh yeah, I think the ACC thought that having the let's see here, the clouds over them and all the other sports would eventually lead them to have to join football. And ultimately, Notre Dame has continued to thumb their nose at the ACC. And look, the reason they want Stanford is because they have a rivalry with them. They have play every year. It's a rivalry game for them. And if they can keep that rivalry intact, like you said, that is one less game they have to worry about.
Yeah, Notre Dame has way too much say so in things and football matters in a league that they're not even a member of. It doesn't make any sense. I can understand them, having a say in basketball, baseball, whatever, but if you're not a full member in football, and they never had any intention of joining the ACC, the ACC also gave them an easy out. If they are contractually obligated to join the ACC if they ever join a conference. I think that's been pretty well publicized. But there's an easy out of that thing. They don't have to worry about the grant of rights. All they got to do is cut a check, and they can buy their way out of that thing. And while it's probably more, it's over $100 million. It's nothing like what the other ACC teams are facing trying to get out of this league.
Oh yeah, and $100 million to Notre Dame is like pocket change.
Yeah, they can write that check whenever they wanted to. They can get out whenever they want to. They made it way too easy on them. Gave them everything and didn't get it nearly enough in return. I still don't get it.
Yeah, I don't think we ever will. Well, you know what we did get this week? We got to hear from Aranda. So Jason, you were there Tuesday, to hear from Clemson wide receiver Aranda. So let's hear a little bit of what he had to say, and then I want your thoughts on just how he sounded. He's coming off an injury. He had the ceiling was so high for him last year, and I want to know your expectations for him.
In this fall camp that it's been maybe the past couple of last fall and last spring?
Yeah, it's just been a great feel. Just us going out there and being competitive with each other, just making each other better. Also, us going to get some incredibly good corners out there every single day. We just know we're pushing each other, and I feel like every day we go out there, we're playing the best corners and the best team in the nation. So I feel like that's making us come together stronger, and just thankfully, me and Bo being healthy. Because we weren't there during the spring, just us being able to bring some kind of leadership and just go out there and set the standard. It's really a very helpful for our entire room and Coach Grisham himself.
RJ Mickens thank the offense for being so good. During August, apparently you guys have had some great battles. This one day, one scrimmage, one play kind of stand out to you that shows how much the two units are, kind of equal.
Last scrimmage, Coach Sweeney was just like, maybe it was our first scrimmage. Coach Sweeney was just saying how both sides were very competitive. How both sides made plays, and it just wasn't like a lopsided scrimmage. So, I attest that to our coaching staff and us going out there and putting the work in every day. And I just appreciate the defense coming out there with the same mindset as us every single day and getting after us like they would any other team.
Cliff Kennedy, Clemson Sports Media. How's the competition between you and Cole made you a better receiver?
Just Cole going out there and him being a beast that he is, just me wanting to elevate my game every single day just to, continue to set the standard that it is out there every single day. And, just us being able to go out there and, I wouldn't say it's a competition, just having a friendship that we want to make each other better and just continue and just fight for each other and fight for the team. We're going to try to be the best guys and best people out there and just continue to go out there and play and make plays for the team and, just do it all with love at that too.
John Blau with the Post and Courier. Looking back on last year, you came back from your ACL, I think in about 170 days or something like that. Were you truly ever at 100% of where you could be physically, and where would you say you are now?
I feel like I was 100% physically, the mental aspect of it, just not being able to go out there and practice with the team for an entire fall camp. I'm forever thankful to be out there, go out there in the heat and run around a little bit just with the team and being able to gel with the quarterback at that. I feel like, throwing the brace to the side and not having that on my leg has just been able to make me get back up to my top speeds and get in and out of my break faster. So I feel like, just not having that brace on my leg has really helped me out a lot. And, just going out there and being able to play free. And I feel like Coach Riley has brought that mindset to the offense where we can go out there and really play free and just, do our thing like we're back in high school and just go out there and make plays like the ballers that we are.
If anyone ever died, Jason's, working at those press conferences, you could hear him hammering away on that keyboard.
I am not the quietest of typers, and that is a perfect example. But it is a better example of how good that mic is, man. It was probably 2 feet away from my laptop. And the fact that we all know John Blau, he is a very, as they would say on Seinfeld, a very low talker, man. And hearing how well that mic picked him up from 10 feet away just tells you how great that mic works, man. It is phenomenal.
That's true. Yeah, so I want to get your opinion kind of on, I don't know what he said a couple things. First off, does it worry you at all that the offense and defense have kind of not necessarily been completely even through this fall, but that, there hasn't really ever been a dominant performance by either one?
No, it doesn't me anyways. The last couple of years, we kind of heard how the defense have been owning the offense, and we saw how that worked out. I like the fact that it's been competitive and back and forth. I think that, that kind of tells us how much improvement there has been on the offensive side of the ball. The fact that you don't have one side dominating the other side, that doesn't concern me at all, though. I love the fact that it's being competitive. I think that makes everybody better.
Yeah, and I actually reference, not having a knee brace this year. That's something that a lot of fans may not realize, that any time a player has an ACL injury, the first year they are back, they are required to wear a knee brace. However, after that first year, they can choose whether or not to hurt. If you're Deshaun Watson, after he had his ACL injury, he already raced the following year, and then the year after that, he took off. So just hearing his confidence and regaining that speed and athleticism, I think that has to encourage fans when they hear him talking like that. Because as Navi says, he is a grown man. He
Oh,
is he is a guy that looks the part, and he showed his freshman year he can do it.
he is a physical specimen. He is a chiseled 225 pounds. And it is
Yeah.
pretty,
So what you're saying is he's a little bit like me, right?
yeah, exactly. He is all muscle, very little body fat on him. But I have seen some people inside this fan base that are writing Adam Randall off because they didn't see what they wanted to see last year, and he didn't live up to the hype last year. It's almost like they forget he tore an ACL. And then after that, he also was dealing with a finger injury or hand injury after he came back. So I don't think he was ever fully back. Um, I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised at the talent level that this kid possesses. I saw it, we talked about it. I saw him a few times play in high school, and he's got the ability to just take over games. He his athleticism is off the charts. He's got more speed than he's given credit before by some fans. I think having him back fully healthy is going to make a world of difference on that wide receiver room.
Absolutely. And honestly, here's the thing. Yeah, there is something that has to change mentally when you suffer an injury like that. He referenced it, the fact that getting back out there and cutting and making the moves and taking the hits that you're going to take as a receiver. 99% of that is mental. And I think, like you saw with Mike Williams, he came back after his neck injury. He said that it took him a while before he was fully trusting that he could go out there and play and not re-injure himself. So I think, having this year off, having the race off, I think you're going to see him cut it loose and have a huge year for the Tigers.
Yeah, it's all about, I guess, building back up trust in that injured body part. You got to get back to fully trusting that knee again, and it sounds like he's there. It sounds like he's kind of, we all heard about some of the plays. We even saw some of them. They were documented on video about a team last spring before he suffered that injury. Sounds like he's kind of picking up where he left off pre-injury in fall camp, and I think that is something that is sorely lacked in this offense the past couple of years. He's a guy that can help bring some explosiveness back to that side of the ball.
Yeah, I completely agree that, anytime you have a, body part that is injured, it takes a while to build that trust back. Kind of like, when I have Mexican, and it goes through you. I mean, sometimes it takes you a while before you can trust to go back to eat it again.
That's why I don't eat Mexican, man.
I think that is where we will cut today. Listen, as always, thank you so much for joining us today. Yeah, we have a blast joining you every day to talk Clemson football, talk, just sports and life in general. If you
Bad luck.
have, yeah, Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Hit and runs, dogs with cancer, lawnmowers, trees falling on cars. Listen, if you have not liked and subscribed, please do that. It helps us out so much. We have so many more shows coming your way. Racinkus does a Sunday reset every Sunday where he recaps, what happened last week and gets you ready for the upcoming week. And Jason's Monday Live is killing it. And listen, next Friday night, we start our college football game day preview show. I could not be more excited. We are going to be live from Magnetic South in Anderson. Do not miss it. Come out, it's family friendly. You can bring your kids, they have ski ball, golden tee, all kinds of stuff there. They have great food, great drinks. Bring your family out and let's talk Clemson and Duke next week. It is going to be an absolute blast. So put that on your calendar next Friday at 5 o'clock. Magnetic South Anderson. So, Jason, any other bad luck that you want to share with anyone?
I don't know if y'all can tell, but I've been dealing with this dog the whole hour we've been online here. I'm sure everybody heard her start barking a little while ago. She come out the diaper. She's man, it's just been a nightmare.
Listen, don't knock her in a diaper. It's only a few years before you're going to.
Hey, if I start doing what she's doing, please put me in one. I don't want to be the pro. I don't want my wife to have to clean that mess up.
I heard that. For Jason, I am Zach. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same channel. Thank you so much for joining us. It's great to see everyone. Have a blessed day.